When we shift to the middle school document, the grades 6 through 8 document, in addition to all of the standards that have been subsumed that were previously in the Common Core state standards, 6th grade includes 3 additional standards for number sense and computation and 3 additional standards for geometry and measurement. In 7th grade, the draft standards again subsume everything that was in Common Core with the following exceptions. These are standards that were in Common Core that have been removed, and those include describing situations in which opposite quantities combine to make 0, convert a rational number to a decimal using long division, use variables to represent quantities in a real-world or mathematical problem, and construct simple equations in inequalities to solve problems by reasoning about the quantities, and compare an algebraic solution to an arithmetic solution, identifying the sequence of the operations used in each approach. In 7th grade, number sense and computation, Standard 1, is actually performed at a higher level in the 6th grade standard. In 6th grade, it's Algebra and Functions Standard 3. It does not need to be repeated in the 7th grade with a lower expectation. I would recommend that standard be removed. In addition, number sense and computation has standards 2, 3, and 4, all of which are 8th grade standards and included in the 8th grade standards draft. In Algebra and Functions, standards 2, 3, 4, and 5, again, are 8th grade standards that are included in the 8th grade standards draft. In Geometry and Measurement, Standard 2 is also an 8th grade standard. I would recommend that these standards not be duplicated in 7th grade to allow the 7th grade teachers time to actually teach the content designed specifically for their grade level. There are additional standards for 7th grade as well. 2 additional standards for data analysis and probability, and 2 additional standards for number sense and computation. In the 8th grade, the draft standards subsume the content and skills from the Common Core with the following exception. Use numbers expressed in the form of a single digit times an integer power of 10 to estimate very large or very small quantities and to express how many times as much one is than the other. In Algebra and Functions, standards 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all algebra standards. These standards do not need to be added to the 8th grade curriculum. Time needs to be protected to learn deeply the 8th grade content. In 8th grade, there are 3 additional standards for geometry and measurement. In high school, the findings are a little different. In fact, the high school findings are quite difficult. Because the standard statements were pulled together from multiple sets of standards to gather the best standards, there are places where terminology is inconsistent, and there are places where standards are duplicated. The high school standards are listed by strand for all grades 9 through 12. The standards are not broken out by course. The high school draft of the Indiana College and Career Readiness Standards include most of the content and skills under the Common Core and much of the content and skill statements from the Indiana 2000 standards, the 2009 standards, and the NCTM standards. Until the standards are divided into courses, it is incredibly difficult to provide feedback on this draft because we can't determine which statement might be a foundational skill taught in Algebra 1 that goes deeper in Algebra 2, for example, or if these are too closely related or redundant standards. I believe that more work needs to be done with the high school draft standards and another opportunity for input provided once some of these changes have been made. It's incredibly important that you use your voice to provide comment or testimony about these standards. You're the ones working with students every day in the classroom, and you are the experts who know not only your students, but this content. Please take the time to review these documents and provide input either online or face-to-face at the hearings next week.